and chief engineer and chief instructor here for the railroad. Been here some 40 years, a little over 40 years now. And I got into it because my original field was electronics, really. I was pretty much multitask, you might say. But I was in electronics for 34 years in instrumentation, but in railroading ever since I was that tall. My grandfather lived up in Modoc County where there was a helper station with the big railroad, the full size, the old cab forwards, and we would go down there every time we go up for a vacation. Spend time in the yards watching those guys move around and do things, and been just train chasing ever since, all my life really. And then in 1978, my wife says, well, it's in the newspaper here, let's go see what is going on in Tilden Park. They have a new steam engine. We came up here. I saw their new, at that time, their new locomotive, number 11, and engineer at the time gave me a ride on the cab, and he saw my interest in things. So I took 2 or 3 rides, actually, with him, and got pretty interested, especially after somebody in the audience. He asked, well, don't you guys usually run 2 trains on Labor Day holiday like this? And he says, yes, except that we were short of engineers. Well, my ears went boing. And I just got to find out who to talk to, which was Eric Thompson, the founder and owner of this railroad at the time. He built it as a hobby that got carried away, and I just got into it so thick and heavy that I just practically living with the thing. And it was only within a month that he had posted me as sort of, you might say, a chief bottle washer, or whatever. As time went on, I ran every weekend that I possibly could because I was still working at my regular job. And there was roughly a 10-year overlap between the time that I was still working and started up here on weekends. And at the end of that 10-year period or so, that I retired from my electronics and came up here full-time on weekends. Every time the gate was open, I was here, and that's the way I liked it.